watch movies. I know you probably wouldn't expect that with my catalog of videos where I review movies, but I tend to watch a few, especially when I was a wee little baby boy. And a lot of times there are those movies from like the late 90s, early 2000s that kind of slipped through the cracks for me when I was younger, and I really wish I watched them when I was younger. And that statement rang true straight through my ears and out my ass whenever I finally watched Titan A.E. Yes, I finally watched it. I know you guys have been asking me for a long freaking time, but this movie has given me a weird feeling that I don't believe many people experience. I don't know, maybe this is like a common experience for some people, but I was feeling nostalgic over something that I can't feel nostalgia for because, you know, I didn't watch it when I was younger. This movie gave me that weird feeling of being a child again and watching a movie in the early 2000s. A core memory was created for this movie. The soundtrack, the atmosphere, the characters, the plot. It took everything that Atlantis and Treasure Planet did and expanded upon it and just made it better, making it my new favorite sci-fi animated movie. I guess you could say from the 2000s, but also in general. I mean, I don't really watch many sci-fi animated movies, but still, it's my favorite now. And I just want to mention the similarities to this and Atlantis and Treasure Planet are pretty uncanny. It's about a young kid whose father left him. He doesn't have his father anymore. And he ends up tagging along with a crew of a mishmash of different people in order to help him find this treasure, quote unquote. And not only are these movies similar in plot and style, they're also very similar in bombing at the box office. I don't know what is going on with sci-fi animated movies in the 2000s, but man, people hated them. And whereas Treasure Planet almost completely ruined Disney, Titan A.E. actually completely destroyed Fox Animation Studios as a whole. Like they stopped making movies after this, becoming the last Fox animated movie to be created of that studio. So what I'm going to be talking about today is just the movie in general, why I think it's so good, obviously spoilers. I mean, honestly, if you're going to get spoiled from a movie from 2000, I think you shut up. Quit complaining. And I'm also going to talk about why it did so bad. This movie was directed by none other than the legendary Don Bluth. And by him being the director, you could automatically assume, you know, this movie is going to be pretty freaking good. It's Don Bluth. This is the man who created Secret of NIMH, Anastasia, The Rescuers, and also All Dogs Go to Heaven, one of my favorites. Some incredible animated movies. And 90s was just kind of a crazy time for animated movies. It was the Disney Renaissance, where everyone was trying to follow behind Disney and making the next big animated hit. But unfortunately for Fox Animated Studios, they were a little bit behind on this. With a budget of $75 million, Titan A.E. released at a whopping $36.8 million. So it's safe to say it didn't do good. It did bad. And according to Chris Meledandri, I said that right, but he was a supervisor of the film. And apparently Titan A.E. lost $100 million for 20th Century Fox. That is insane. And the issue has little to do with the actual content in the movie and more to do with who it was directed to. I feel like a lot of time during this day and age, pretty much 90% of a movie doing well mostly relied on the marketing, the demographic promoting, and just promoting the movie in general, ads. Because if you didn't hear about it, you're not gonna go see it. And not only that, but also rival movies at the theater. There's a lot of things that go into play rather than just the content of the movie itself. And another reason this kind of bombed is Don Bluth. You know, he was known for Anastasia, that whimsical, wonderful, magnificent, beautiful musical number movie. And it's a big contrast from going to that to this gritty, hardened sci-fi movie for, you know, it doesn't really work for 5-year-olds, which is what I think they were going for. Because back then, a lot of people viewed, oh, this is an animated movie, must be for my 5-year-old child, which is such a dumb thing. But where this movie failed, it definitely thrived when it reached VHS, you know, the blockbusters, the family videos, the other places. You know, kids like me go to the movie rental place and you grab a couple kids movies, you have no idea what they are, and then you stumble upon a random gem like this one. That is where movies like Atlantis, Treasure Planet, and this come into play. It was a lot of children's first introduction to sci-fi in general. And honestly, this movie is visually amazing, even though it is a mixture of CG and 2D animation. They blended it together very well. But I do want to mention, it does occasionally remind me of that classic Creed music video, or maybe even that classic Linkin Park In the End music video. You guys know what I'm talking about? You know, sometimes, you know, that kind of reminds me of that. Maybe that's why I'm nostalgic about it. Who knows? Internet. It's around. We use it sometimes. So why not use protection? Wrap it before you surf it. With NordVPN, you can browse the internet with the comfort of knowing that your location, your information, all of that is protected. With over 5,400 servers in 59 different countries, you can find a server near you or have a little bit of fun and try a server in a completely different country. And a lot of you are wondering, why would I do that? Why would I go to a different country? Well, you know, sometimes when content is blocked, maybe a streaming service, maybe a show or a movie you want to watch, well, boom, now you're in a different country that actually allows that. It's literally a one-click solution to that problem. And also with internet goers like me who use internet all the time, and I mean, it's my job, and I kind of rely on the bandwidth that the ISP provides me, Nord encrypts all of your traffic to make sure that your ISP does not slow your internet connection. All I'm saying right now is there's absolutely zero reason why you should not have NordVPN. With the combination of protection and just the downright cool features that it has with it, it's literally a no-brainer. Internet is really something that everyone should be taking seriously all the time. Why don't you do yourself a favor and get NordVPN today? Why don't you click that link in the description to get yourself a 30-day free trial to try it out and then realize, wow, this is a good idea. Why didn't I think of this a long time ago? I don't know why you sound like that. I don't know why I made a voice for whoever you are, but whatever. Get Nord.
The universe has no obligation to make sense to us. And that's what makes sci-fi such an interesting genre. As a child, you look up at the stars and wonder if there will ever be a world in which we live in, that we are able to explore beyond our planet. This movie's world and sci-fi as a whole explores this concept and theorizes it in its own way as to how the world will look in the future.
And how Titan begins is the perfect representation of 0 to 100 very fast. We see the main character, Kale, playing with an invention that he and his father made. And right off the bat, you're just like, oh, you know, we're just gonna have like a little backstory where he's gonna run home to his family. Hey, Dad. Hey, Mom. And we're gonna have a little bit of like, you know, family lovey time. No, they don't do that in this movie. They go straight to the annihilation of Earth. So as this toy floats away, his dad grabs it, turns up, his dad's in full like soldier uniform, turns around, and we see the entire human race running to spaceships flying away from Earth trying to evacuate before an alien species destroys all of them. Yeah, that the first 2 minutes of the movie, it's already like, hey, kid playing with toy, annihilation of Earth. But we can definitely see that Kale's father is a very important man. He leaves his son with this fancy golden ring and tells him to never take it off because that is humanity's last hope. And as Kale takes off in a regular ship, his father takes off in this enormous ship that looks like a ball called Titan and warps into space as Earth is completely annihilated by an alien species known as the Dredge. And I do want to mention one of these things that I really like about this movie that Treasure Planet kind of missed the mark on. They got a little bit of realism on this where it's not so ridiculous that you're like, okay, come on, man. You know, riding the waves of a supernova, that's a little bit ridiculous, I would say, Treasure Planet. But by realism, I mean when Earth blows up, it's not just like a poof, burst of light, disappeared. It's just dust. There's no rocks. There's nothing else happening. I feel like a lot of sci-fi shows and movies, whenever Earth explodes, it's just like that explosion, big, long blue line, and then it just evaporates into the sky. But when this Earth blows up, oh boy, rocks get sent flying out into space. It destroys a bunch of ships along the way, even destroys the moon. Like, this is some good shit. But we move 15 years into the future and we have an older Cal voiced by Matt Damon, who, you know, he's the classic rebellious kid similar to that of Jim in Treasure Planet. I mean, you'll notice a lot of similarities between Treasure Planet and this. And I just want to mention Titan A.E. was before Treasure Planet and Atlantis, so it's, I don't know, maybe there's something there. So in this future, the universe is run by aliens and humans are basically just hot garbo. Damn, these aliens are racist as shit. And Kale is a space metal cutter guy. I don't know the title of this job. We just saw him cutting metal. I don't really know. And as you can see, he kind of has like a rebellious reputation around here where all these aliens, you know, kind of expect him to get into trouble. He gets in so much trouble that two big boy aliens start wailing on him until some old dude helps him out. And this old dude happens to be the dude who drove Kale onto the ship to fly him away from Earth. But obviously Kale doesn't realize this because he was only 4 years old when it happened. He invites Kale to join him on the mission to save humans from extinction. extinction. And obviously Kale's like, nah, man, humans kind of lame, bro. We're gonna die anyway. There's no hope. So yeah, he kind of declines. But soon enough, they all get tracked down by the Dredge, who apparently is going after Kale for some reason. And we kind of start figuring out why that is. That ring on Kale's finger is a map to the Titan, kind of similar to the map when it comes to Jim and Treasure Planet. You know how Jim was kind of the only one who could figure out how to open the map, so they had to use him in order to get to Treasure Planet. So Kale's the only one who could use this map, so everyone's trying to use. You see the similarities. And I know a lot of people are probably saying, oh, this is just a coincidence, but let's be real, people. You really think Disney ever shies away from stealing a movie from someone? Huh? Thief and the Cobbler? Remember that? Anyway, the Dredge show up and Kale and Joseph escape to the ship. And the show did not really shy away from showing any graphic scenes, because this one scene, I'll be honest, kind of caught me off guard, made me a little bit unsettled. But there was this alien bug who's the cafeteria chef. He kind of got caught in between the Dredge and Kale when they were trying to escape, and the Dredge shoot him and he basically turns into cum. So they all escape and we're introduced to the crew. A little bit of parallels to the crew in Atlantis. You know, Commander Corso kind of reminds me of Commander Rourke. You know, they're both commanders. They both have that chiseled old man vibe. Goon, who's the scientist and navigator, is literally just Moliere. I mean, they're literally the same. Stith, who's kind of like the gunsmith character with a really big attitude, kind of reminds me of Audrey from Atlantis. But, you know, I'll stop making comparisons and move on. We also have the creepy Preed, who is voiced by the legendary Nathan Lane, you know, the guy who voiced Timon on Timon and Pumbaa 2.0. And of course, Akima, who eventually becomes the love interest, who obviously starts off by hating him and being like, oh, you're so gross, you're such a loser. And later on is like, I want to suck your face, you're so hot. But she's voiced by Drew Barrymore, so that's cool. We got the classic crew of misfits on a journey to save humanity, to find this treasure. And the first stop is planet Cesarean. You know, this part really has that classic Star Wars vibe where you have like a shot of the planet scene and then you have the name at the bottom. I kind of like that. And apparently in this area, there's a species called the Gal, which shows Kale how to use the map in order to find Titan. And right when they find the true location of the Titan, the Dredge show up. And that's when I mentioned we only see the Gal on screen for a few minutes, and they end up sacrificing half of their species just to save Cal, which is pretty freaking cool and respectful. Give some respect to the Gal. Also, just a little FYI, the action sequences in this movie, kind of bomb. They did a great job of making these scenes really suspenseful and visually impressive and just kind of unique. On this action sequence, they're on a planet with trees made of hydrogen. So there was a lot of like big explosions, boom, kind of epic, you know? What is happening back there, bro? You good? You straight? Bro. But unfortunately, in this scene, Akima and Kale get caught by the Dredge and jailed. And this is where we get that little bit of relationship development between Kale and Akima, because Akima was a little bit too young when she was on Earth to really remember much about it. So she only has heard stories and fairy tales about planet Earth. So she really wants to find the Titan so they could have a place to call home again. And she was also raised in what is called a drifter colony, which is basically just a group of stray humans living on like a colony of different spaceships just drifting through space. And something I want to kind of praise, or maybe I'm just very stupid, but I like this part about the Titan. It's so vague and confusing. You don't ever really get a clear idea on what the Titan is. Throughout this movie, all we know is the Titan can save humanity, and that's about it. We don't really know how it's going to save humanity, because from what I've seen in the beginning of the movie, it's just a giant spaceship ball. Like, do humans live inside of it? Is that going to be the planet, or does it just have a buttload of supplies for humans to survive in space for a long time? It really never clearly explains what it does, and I love that. It keeps things interesting. It keeps you on your toes. And all I'll say is what it does, I didn't really expect. I kind of did, but I was like, nah, that would be kind of too much, right? Also, another interesting fact is Kima tells Kale the reason the Dredge want humanity gone is because they are afraid of what they might become, which later on is revealed why exactly they want to destroy the Titan so bad. So Akima and Kale get sent to the mothership, and they use Kale to reveal the location of the Titan. Kale's put in a prison, but then they put Akima in a pod and kind of just spit her out into space. But she's later found by Corso and the crew because apparently Akima had like a tracker on her, so they were able to find her, but they weren't able to find Kale. And I just want to mention, whenever all of this stuff happens, like when Kale gets the map stolen from him, when Akima gets shot into space, when he gets put in jail, he has like this little freak out reaction, which is a nice touch because I feel like a lot of movies don't ever give a proper reaction to something that is like crazy that happens. You know, like people witness their mother die in front of them and it's like, no, mother, why? That's not how you would react. You would be freaking out. So I feel like they did a good job at showing how completely terrified and freaked out Kale is. Okay, I'm putting you back. I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know what you're squawking at.
Who? Me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you, bitch.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pig.
Bitch. But there are a few parts in the movie I do kind of want to nitpick and complain about, if that's all right with you guys. The first being how Cal escapes. There's not really a rhyme or reason as to why or how Cal finds this out, but I guess when he touched the wall with his fingers and then brings them together, he's able to like walk through it. I don't know, maybe there's some like scientific reason why this is happening with like electricity. I mean, I don't really know much about it. And if there is some sort of electricity reason why this is happening, please let me know in the comments so I don't look like a complete idiot. But they could have easily have come up with some sort of like sci-fi reasoning. Maybe the ring on his finger like planned for this because, you know, his father knew about the dredge and put the ring on and he's able to break through because the ring has like an anti-electric, you know, there's a lot of things they could have done to fix that confusion there because he literally just went, oh. But anyway, he literally just pokes his way through a wall made by an insanely advanced alien civilization and was even able to jack an alien spaceship, fly it, and find the exact location of his ship, which I just want to mention. I guess technically they are following the dredge or going toward the same location as the dredge. So he probably would have happened upon them eventually anyway. Bro, you need to chill, okay?
I thought I saw a fly.
You went down?
Actually, I'd quite like that. Yes, let me down and investigate. This is nice. Wait, what are you doing?
I don't know what you're freaking out about. Okay.
Whatever do you mean? Can you not see him?
All right, I'm gonna put you up. Come here, Squawker.
No, please. I was trying to protect you. No. Wait.
No longer will you interrupt my video, Shadow.
I have never been this humiliated.
So the next scene's kind of just like a visual spectacle, something I would compare to a Creed or Linkin Park music video. I'm sorry, I had to say it. This part just reminds me of like a 90s rock video where they just have all that CGI shit that doesn't really make much sense. But this is like a sweet little moment and perfect before the twist that's about to happen. Because in the beginning of the movie when they were leaving Earth, Kale asked Corso if he could drive the car and he's like, well, maybe when you're older, boy. Now he's older. Now Corso's letting him drive the ship. Sappy, nice little callback. And now for the twist. Not gonna lie, I didn't expect it when I watched it. I honestly don't know why, because after seeing Atlantis, I should have 1000% predicted this. Joseph Corso was actually working with the bad guys. But yeah, he was working with the dredge the entire time in order to get that fat stack of cash. But I will admit, the way that Kale found out, this is another gripe I have with this movie, was very stupid. Because him and Akima were just walking down the hall, you know, flirting a little bit, poking each other's parts.
Shadow! Enough of this!
But while they were flirting in the hallway, Corso's in there talking to the leader of the dredge. And when I say talking, I mean yelling, shouting at the leader of the dredge with his door wide open while they're walking down the hall saying, I will kill this child. I'll kill Kale myself. You're not supposed to mess with this. I was supposed to bring the boy to the thing I'm double crossing him. I'm listing everything that I'm doing that's evil right now while he's walking past with the door open. The hell is that shit, man? Honestly, it's probably one of the main gripes I have with this movie, which, I mean, to be fair, I feel like a lot of movies have that where they find out by some dumb happenstance like that. Are you calling me hot? Are you whistling at me? Yeah. If I put you back on my shoulder, you better behave. You understand me? Last chance. The last chance, you understand me? But anyway, it turns out Corso and Preed were in on it the entire time, whereas Goon, Stith, Akima, and Kale were completely in the dark. And apparently Corso believes that humanity is a lost cause, kind of similar to what Kale believed in the beginning of the movie. And he was tricking Kale in order to find the Titan, destroy it so the Dredge could give him a buttload of money, and then he could live life without worry or fear of the Dredge, which, let's be honest, if we know any villain that's alien, they're just going to kill him anyway. So Kale and Akima were able to escape, but Preed was able to get a nice shot on Akima's shoulder before they left. So Goon and Stith are completely still none the wiser about the situation. So they just assume Kale and Akima left because they were afraid. So Akima gets treated by the drifter colony that they were docked on, which is actually her. And after Kale walks around, meets more humans, he starts to realize, hey, humans are pretty cool. Humans, maybe we shouldn't all die. And so he's like, hey, let's go stop Corso and the Dredge. Let's be heroes. Even though in the beginning of the movie, I completely hated humanity and thought that all of them should die. I'm going to change my mind and sacrifice my entire life to save humanity.
Yes.
He agrees. There is this one stupid montage, which I mean, you know, I feel like all 90s movies need some sort of montage where it's Kale fixing this really old broken down ship, but it just doesn't make any sense because I don't think he would have time to fix an entire ship while Corso and the Dredge are already closing in on the Titan a long time ago. But anyway, Akima and Kale somehow end up in front of Corso, so Corso follows them to the Titan. But this scene is honestly my favorite scene in the movie. There's a portion where they're trying to lose Corso and they get stuck in basically like a mirror house where there's just a bunch of different reflections from the icicles. I don't even know how you call it icicles, ice mountains, I guess. But it's just a cool scene because they use all the different reflections to confuse Corso and end up getting away from him and getting to the Titan first. A very unique way to do this part. So they made it to the Titan, and I'll be honest, even after they made it to the Titan, I was still hopelessly confused on what the hell this thing does. I mean, at first I thought it was some sort of like reference to the Ark because they had all these different DNA vials of different species of animals. But I mean, even then I was like, okay, but what does that do? But then comes the one scene that really made me upset in this movie. Throughout this movie, Goon, he's probably my favorite character. You know, he's just that innocent dude, loves what he does, just helps out humanity just because he likes doing it. And he just has a really positive mindset. Sure, he's weird as shit, but everybody likes weird people. So when Preed gives Stith a watch that's actually a bomb so he could get rid of them both, Goon catches on quick, grabs the watch, runs away to sacrifice himself and save Stith. God, Goon is so cool, but it's also the saddest shit. Anyway, Cal puts on the ring thingy on the Titan. Daddy pops up. He's like, son, I'm sorry I wasn't there to raise you, my child, but now it's time to save humanity. The first thing you must do is bullet goes through the hologram, ruins the entire information. No. But one key thing that Daddy mentioned is that the Titan is out of energy and he needs to replenish it. But then we have a little bit of a standoff between Corso and Kale. And then Kale happens to mention at the perfect moment, I don't know why he didn't mention a long time ago, but the Dredge are actual pure energy and he believes that they'll never be defeated because they're pure energy. Giant ship that needs a buttload of energy in order to start. Giant alien race of evil alien doo-doo brains who are just pure energy. I'd start to see the thing that's going on here. Oh yeah, and then we have another uber-duber super twist where Preed betrays Corso and tries to take all the money for himself, you know, because he's not an alien and doesn't really care for humans. He doesn't really have anything to lose. And then, oh, boom, he's dead. Get a crack in the neck. Honestly, that was pretty violent. That was a very aggressive death for Preed, not gonna lie. Also, Corso almost falls to his death and then Kale tries to save him. You know, classic good guy tries to save bad guy from falling to his death. I'm pretty sure that happened on Treasure Planet and it also happened on Atlantis. Is there something there? I feel like there's something there. Also, we get that classic trope of he's trying to start the big machine and it turns out one of the thingies are malfunctioning. How inconvenient. But anyway, when Kale goes outside to manually fix the malfunctioning thingy, I don't really know what you call it. Apparently Goon actually lived, best part of the movie, and he actually starts shooting down the ships that are trying to kill Kale. And then right when Kale gets stuck by a ship, oh, look who happens to show up, Mr. Bad Guy, Corso. Oh, what's that? He changed his mind. He wants to save humanity now. So that's good. Finally, he's on their side. Then they, oh, he's dead. Oh, he's gonna die. Oh, he's getting, yep. He's dead. But the dredge is about to use the same laser they used to destroy the planet to destroy the Titan. They got their sights set on them, and then right when they shoot the laser, kaboom, la-boom, boom. What was that? No. Never say that again. Kayla ends up starting the Titan. Whenever they shoot their planet-destroying laser, it actually siphons that energy that they're shooting out and then sucks all of the dredge, including the ship and everything with them, into the Titan in order to literally create a planet. The Titan is literally a planet creator. That's all it is. It's like a mini Big Bang for one planet, which I just want to mention, cool as shit. Like I didn't really, I kind of expected it, but didn't expect it that much throughout the movie, but cool as shit. So now we kind of see why the dredge was trying to destroy humanity, because humanity uses energy, and they thought that humanity was going to create something that uses enough energy to suck out their soul juices and use them as energy sources for things. I mean, that is America, the planet. So it's kind of ironic that they built a Titan to create a planet, if on the off chance the dredge kills the planet, and then they use that Titan to kill the dredge to make another planet. So basically, they found the Dragon Balls and they wished the planet back. So in the end, Cal and Akima are sitting on the planet. They're about to kiss, and then a goon stops them, and romantic funny moment. Movie's over. Great movie. I love this freaking movie. It just has everything amazing about the 90s, the early 2000s, all in a nice bundle that I love so much. I don't know why I didn't watch this movie earlier. I'm sorry, all of the thousands of comments of people telling me to watch it. I finally did, and it was worth it. If you guys haven't seen this movie and you love that 2000s vibe, I highly recommend watching it. I know I literally spoiled the entire thing for you. Whatever, suck it up, quit being a baby. But if you guys like this video, please make sure to like this video, because that's what you do. I mean, if you like it, you gotta like it. That's the rules. Them's the rules. And if you so subscribe to me, I would much appreciate it. Thank you all for the subscribers and the comments and the peepers. Thank you for staying toasty. Keep on keeping on. Pig out. That was awful.